Last episode, we explored competitive Yu-Gi-Oh's first foray into sealed play at a tournament level. What was interesting about this event, YCS San Diego 2013, is that Day 1 was played using the Battle Pack sealed format, and Day 2 was played with advanced constructed decks. It's also safe to say that Day 2 featured some interesting meta contenders. In this series, both MBT and myself will be traversing the sands of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Each episode will take a deep dive into Yu-Gi-Oh's past formats and unlock new strategies as new sets become available. Strap yourselves in because anything is possible. Welcome to the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you want 5% off any singles or sealed product, click the affiliate links in the description and use code CIMOOOOO5. And clicking the TCG Player affiliate link before you shop helps support us to provide you with more amazing content.
This one's going to be kind of hard to talk about. So from about January of 2013 until April of 2013, one deck loomed large in the psyche of the average Yu-Gi-Oh player. It was a deck that hadn't put up particularly impressive top finishes, but it was nonetheless available and was played during this period. It was this, Gishki FTK. Now, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is no stranger to FTKs. It's been about 8 years since Magical Scientist was taking names, and certainly Frog FTK had made a splash just a couple of years prior at the World Tournament. But this FTK was different than those. You see, this FTK takes a long time to win. There's no damage component. Your win condition is to deck your opponent out, often one card at a time. Doing this optimally, and therefore playing around things like Effect Veiler, DD Crow, and all manner of hand traps, means that you might take up to 40 minutes doing your first turn. Because the combos are not deterministic, and because you can mess up at any time or fall prey to a particular hand trap, your opponent is incentivized to watch you play this turn in the hopes that their interaction will outgun what you have added to your hand. Therefore, the Gishki player needs to be playing exceptionally slowly in order to amass the amount of resources necessary to play around everything, and the person sitting opposite them needs to be waiting through the entirety of their turn to fire off 3 effect failures at the end of their Mind August chain. It created this unstoppable force and immovable object of FTK that was ripe for ruining tournaments. You see, back in the day, Yu-Gi-Oh's time rules weren't finish current phase, they would go into extra turns like Magic the Gathering does. And if you're winning on the first turn, what do you care who's player 5? You're never going to make it past this one. As a result of this deck's existence, gallons of ink were spent defending and attacking players who chose to play this deck, both from casual players and pro players alike. This is unquestionably an unsportsmanlike deck. It incentivizes you to spend a ton of time in the tank spinning your wheels about how you are going to finally win the game so that you are able to take the match 1-0. It encourages opponents to concede early, even at points in the game where they think they might still be able to win, just because they also might be able to beat you with a couple of well-timed Effect Veilers and DD Crows. Doing that would win them the match game 1. And importantly, it also had the capacity to make the tournament not run on time. You can't tell people to stop playing if they're abiding the time rules. Quit it, you've been at your turn 0 for 20 minutes, doesn't exactly work. Theoretically, if enough people played this deck, it would throw tournaments into disarray, which is something nobody wanted. Now these days, a significant amount of those conversations are gone forever, lost to forum bloat. There are a couple of interesting nuggets that still exist, however. Joji Orlando's January 2013 article in ARG is a really nice primer and a good touchstone as to how the player base was feeling about this deck. He explains very little about how the deck actually plays and wins, only the bare bones necessary to let people know how to beat it, then spends the remainder of the article explaining to individuals the meticulous steps that they can take in order to ensure their Gishki opponent does not win the match 1-0, following with a conclusion conclusion that says, I do not think Gishki is the right call for a tournament in January or February of this year. This seemed to reflect a majority of the understanding of players. This deck existed and had the potential to win in Game 1, but doing so wasn't particularly enjoyable, felt like solitaire, and did have the capacity to just straight up lose to better decks in the format. Still, many people played the deck. Alan Pennington, who put more work into this deck than maybe any other individual person, finally got a top 32 at YCS San Diego with this deck in April of 2013. It remains a particularly interesting artifact in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Silly FTK labbed by someone who spent a ton of time in the tank, fossilized in amber, and surrounded by a conversation about if you were a monster or not for bringing it to a tournament. So now that all the baggage is out of the way, let's talk about the deck itself. Evagishki is an FTK. It aims to use Evagishki Mind August at a point where you have drawn your entire deck in order to return to your deck a pile consisting of 2, 3, 4, or 5 cards. Those cards are going to allow you to not only insulate yourself against hand traps, you're going to be able to draw them by use of many draw spells that you will still have in your grip after a long draw chain. They are also going to enable you to mill out your opponent. Cards like One Day of Peace accelerate your clock one singular card at a time. Hand Destruction does it by 2. But there's a little bit of a complication to this problem, and that is that your opponent will probably have hand traps in their deck. So from the outset, you have to be ready to deck them and contest between 2 and 3 effect failures and some number of alternative hand traps like DD Crow that they may be bringing. Evagishki Mind August's effect is not a once per turn, and as a result, you can use Aqua Mirror to go from Mind August into Mind August, stacking and stacking and stacking until the end of the game. Aqua Mirror's Graveyard effect is similarly not a once per turn, and allows you to recycle the monsters, which you can then search from your deck with a copy of Shadow. Evagishki's Soul Ogre is never summoned, but is fantastic for trade-in, and all of this culminates into a deck that is robust, capable, able to play through almost any number of hand traps with a few particular exceptions, and all but solved. In fact, the deck was so tight you would routinely register a 1-card sideboard. Heavy Storm is the only card that you really care about in games 2 and 3, and you would sacrifice maybe a Cup of Ace in order to include it in your otherwise completely tight 40. Eventually, this deck would completely fall off the map. Players were sick and tired of it and understood how to play against it so effectively that it was unlikely to be able to take a match. Moreover, strategic concessions in Game 1 meant that they could expect to win a Game 2 where they were on the play and a Game 3 where they had targeted hand traps. Many pros even went so far as to include silver bullets in their list. Since they would be drawing their entire deck, there's no reason that they necessarily had to play more than one individual card for this matchup. Most notably, Billy Break in a Mermail list from February of this year played a singular copy of Neko Main King in the side deck. Later, Gishki pilots would figure out how to win through that card. How? I don't know. Now, before we jump into the games, I'm going to add a little bit of a disclaimer here. There is no way I pilot this optimally. The knowledge necessary to facilitate these FTK lines and make the Evagishki Mind August piles in the most effective way is just knowledge that escapes me. I did not play this deck historically. I had no interest in doing so, though I do know people who did. There is almost no amount of time that would prepare me to play this most effectively. The players that were good at this deck remained, in my position, absolute gods of strategy who can understand board states I couldn't possibly comprehend. I'll do my best using the tutorials available at the time, but keep in mind, what you're seeing in these games is not going to be representative of just how absolutely atrocious this deck could be in the hands of a capable pilot.
Ah, yes, here we are once again, Mr. Joseph Rothschild, aka I just want to play FTKs in History of Yu-Gi-Oh! Back at it again, convincing me that having you all sit through Gishki FTK is a fantastic idea. And so instead of playing another water deck against a water deck, and I think you guys are probably sick of Mermail for the 3rd episode in a row, I decided to switch it up because we haven't actually touched on one of the most important decks from around this time, and it may not be that important at this moment because this deck is probably going to be one of the best decks for the foreseeable future, even though right now it's still rather embryonic. This is one of the first cracks at it. Prophecy. Now, Prophecy has had incremental support being released throughout the last several sets. I believe cards such as Spellbook Magician of Prophecy and High Priestess were released in Return of the Duelist. Then there are also cards such as Spellbook of the Master, which was released as late as Cosmo Blazer. And so we've been getting these cards few by few, but together they slowly start to form the makings of an archetype and a deck, and a very powerful one at that. So if you've never seen this archetype before, there's a lot going on here. So there's a very spell-heavy emphasis on these spellbooks. All of these spellbooks can only be activated once per turn, but they all have a respective incredibly powerful ability that we're going to be hoping to demonstrate in this episode, but we're playing against an FTK deck, so that's probably not going to happen. We'll get to this in a moment. Let's start with the monsters. So 3 Valor. This is somewhat relevant being a spellcaster in this deck because some of the spellbooks require you having a spellcaster monster on the field, and so this is one, but you can also tune Valor and some of the other monsters in here to go into our extra deck. Next up is High Priestess of Prophecy. This is the quote-unquote boss monster of the deck. It's 2500 attack, which is pretty good. You reveal 3 different spellbook spells in your hand. It's a special to Priestess, and once per turn you can banish a spellbook and target a card on the field and destroy it. So, but as far as boss monsters go, that's not bad. I mean, you can summon multiple of these out if you have them. We're only running 2 though because it can be a bit bricky. Justice of Prophecy is an interesting card because during the end phase, if you activated a spellbook spell, you can banish this card from the field and add a level 5 or higher light or dark spellcaster monster and a spellbook spell card from your deck to your hand. So this gets you into Priestess, but also gets you into one of your starters, which is most likely Spellbook of Secrets for the following turn. This is a control deck through and through, so we don't really care about having a ton of monsters as long as we can control the board. Next up is a Strange Inclusion, 3 copies of Madolche Mageline. Now, this is a spellcaster, which like I said is relevant to have on the field, but it also just replaces itself because it can search another copy of itself, so that way you're always going to have a constant flow of spellcasters to be able to get onto the field. We have 2 copies of Maxi, we have 3 Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. This on normal summon or being flipped face up adds a spellbook spell card from your deck to your hand. We have Temperance of Prophecy, which if we activated a spellbook spell during our main phase, we can tribute Temperance to special summon Priestess directly from the deck. It's actually any level 5 or higher light or dark spellcaster, but this is our only target. We're also on 2 copies of Trigodia. This deck has a tendency to have a lot of cards at the end of its turn, just through sheer attrition and the fact that it can build up so many cards in a given turn, and so Trag is actually particularly strong in this deck, also good at helping us not die. Then for the spells, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, double MST, double Duality, and then we hit the spellbook. So I'm going to start with Secrets because this on activation adds any spellbook card from your deck to your hand. A typical play pattern here goes Secrets into Magician, normal Magician to add another spellbook. Next up is most likely Master. Master, if you control a spellcaster, which thanks to having Magician on the field we now do, we can reveal another spellbook spell in our hand, then copy the effect of a spellbook normal spell that is in our graveyard, and this effect becomes that effect. So you go Secrets into Prophecy, into Master, Master reveal any other spellbook, copy Secrets, and now you get another add of a spellbook for that turn, bypassing the fact that this is only a once per turn activation. You can also do cool things like double up on effects like possibly Eternity, which adds any banished spellbook card to your hand, or Power, which gives a spellcaster monster 1000 attack, and each time it destroys an opponent's monster by battle this turn, you can add a spellbook spell from your deck to your hand. So the fact that you can stack these to make one of your spellcasters huge is quite relevant. Other spellbook cards that are not normal spells include Spellbook of Fate. This is arguably one of the strongest ones. This one has actually seen numerous takes on the ban list throughout Yu-Gi-Oh's history. It's a quick play spell that if you control a spellcaster monster, you can banish up to 3 spellbooks from your grave and apply an effect depending on how many you banish. So if you banish 1, return a set spell or trap card on the field to the hand. That's whatever. 2, change a monster on the field to face down defense or face up attack. So it's sort of like a Book of Moon. This is actually pretty good with Magician because we can reset our Magician and flip it back up to do the whole loop again next turn. Or 3, and this is the best effect, banish a card your opponent controls. That's non-targeting as well, so that's very annoying for your opponent to deal with. Anyone who plays modern Yu-Gi-Oh knows this quite well. We have Spellbook of Life, which for all intents and purposes is just a monster reborn for one of your spellcasters, and Spellbook of Wisdom, which we can make a spellcaster either unaffected by spell effects or unaffected by trap effects for the duration of the turn. Then finally, we have Grand Spellbook Tower, which is a field spell. This was either released in Abyss Phoenix Rising or Cosmo Blazer, I forget which one, but once per turn during your standby phase, if you have a spellcaster monster on your field or in your grave, you can place a spellbook card from your graveyard to the bottom of your deck and draw one card. So this card lets you get 2 draws every single turn, which is like a control player's wet dream. So you can see why this is here. And then if that's not enough, when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special a spellcaster with a level equal to or less than the number of spellbook cards that are in your graveyard. So at the very least, you can just get a blue boy for 2, which searches you another card anyway. So this card is all value, and you just want to get this online as fast as possible. Then rounding out the deck, we have 2 traps in the form of Torrential Tribute. The extra deck is pretty irrelevant. I mean, you could make some of these, like because we have Veiler, Cataster, Arcanite, Scrap Dragon, Hyper Librarian, and Tempest Magician are possibilities. For the Xyz, we have Dweller. I guess we are playing 4s in the form of like Mageline, so like we could maybe make some of these. Daigusto Phoenix could be made with 2 Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, which is quite funny. Diamond Dyer, Gachi Gachi, Cowboy, number 11 Big Eyes, Shockmaster, a Black Ship of Corn, a Shining Elf, and a Zenmaines. Again, these are here, but we're not very likely going to be going into many of these. And then the side deck, 2 copies of Breaker. It's a Spellcaster, which is great. It pops back row, which can sometimes be problematic, and it's 1600, which paired with power goes up to 26, and that can hit over a lot. We have a 3rd copy of Priestess. We have another copy of Justice, another Max C and MST, 2 copies of Compulse, a Dust Tornado, triple Overworked. I imagine this is for Fire Fist specifically, and triple Soul Drain, which I imagine is for Mermail, because these are some of the best decks of the format. So obviously you're not going to get the best picture of how this deck performs against some of the other top meta contenders, because I'm unfortunately having to play against Gishki FTK, but I hope we can show off some of the cool advantage loops that this engine really gets going, because once the Spellbook engine is off to the races, it's really hard for decks to keep up, and it's one of the reasons why it was the only deck that was able to hold a candle to the all-powerful Dragon Rulers once we get there a little bit later on. Guys, let's not make you wait any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to duel. I don't know how you do it, buddy. This just feels completely backwards than how it should be. You should be in this shirt for the war crimes you're about to commit on camera, playing this abomination of a deck. How do I let you talk me into it? I don't know. I should tweet out the text that you sent me like 30 minutes prior to us filming this, because that is an accurate depiction of what is about to unfold.
I am actually already on it. I've capped the conversation for that purpose.
Excellent.
No, yeah, oh boy, this is going to be a rough one. I don't necessarily think it's going to go poorly for you, right? There's a lot that can go wrong with this deck. And there's a lot of stuff that people were playing. There was an argument during this period that this deck wasn't even particularly good. In fact, I think Alter Reality Games hired out Joji Orlando to publish what I can only describe as anti-Gishki propaganda, in which he detailed point by point how to beat the deck, and also why the deck was a bad decision for an upcoming event. And it worked. This deck only really had the one couple of weeks of serious metagame contention, but what a bad couple of weeks they were.
I also love, too, that there's lore to this, that it's not just this flash in the pan sort of deck. It's interesting, too, because as we've been looking up videos for it, it's fascinating that this was the super mega warping threat at one YCS. And then at the next YCS, San Diego, which was Battle Pack. So, like, you had to play Battle Pack, and then you got to lose to this deck. Definitely a much different tone, I would say, by comparison.
For sure. And, you know, it had an effect on the competitive player base as well. It was obviously a discussion about, like, you know, do we want this kind of deck to be good? Do we want this kind of player to be good? And raised a lot of the troubling questions that we have today surrounding when you should scoop, how you play for time, etc., etc. And
8 years later, here we are, and apparently the answer was yes, because decks now are probably infinitely worse. But let's go ahead and get into it, buddy. I'm not looking forward to it. Shout out the patron, Joseph Rothschild, a.k.a. Please Suck Me. Thank you for the support.
What the fuck? Yeah. That's awful, dude. That is really not
terrible.
Okay. Jesus.
Yeah. They're just getting worse and worse by the minute, buddy. But I thought you'd appreciate that one. You got the hands up?
Yep.
I'm going to go with... What would a Gishki player... I'm going to go with even.
Alex, it's odd.
Oh, no!
It is odd because this is an odd deck.
I went with even because I'm probably wrong, but don't like some of the Gishki rituals have like even numbers of stars? That might not even be right.
Do you think I know that shit? I just put blue cards on the field.
You're playing the fucking deck, I'd hope so. Whatever. Go ahead and go first and just rail me.
Well, we'll see. As I said, you know, I can screw this up.
That's honestly what I'm hoping for at this point. I think that's my only saving grace.
Oh my god, you get to draw a 6th card during this period. Okay, we're fine. This does it. We will normal summon Royal Magical Library.
Fine.
Okay, Into the Void. Now, this is actually a really weird one. Okay, we're going to go Moray of Greed here. I'm going to put back a Evagishki Mind August and an Evagishki Soul Ogre.
Sure. I think both of those were even numbers of stars, so I'm glad that I at least was correct about that.
Okay, and now I am going to activate a card that I promise I am not trolling. Cup of Ace.
Yep. All right. Flip away, buddy.
Easy. I mean, just so easy. It is just that easy.
You know, it wouldn't be history if there wasn't this bullshit going on. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, buddy.
All right, we'll go for RML. We're going to upstart here. We'll go for RML.
Should I even gain life points? I think it's probably irrelevant, but I guess per game mechanics, I probably should.
I'm going to send Vision to the hand here. We're going to grab a Soul Ogre. Ordering this a little bit wrong, but never punished. We're going to go... do I want you to be able to draw cards is the question. I think I can maybe do it with this hand without you ever getting an opportunity to draw. That's probably worth it. We'll go trade-in pitching Soul Ogre. All right, let's hand destruction here. I'm going to send Mind Augus and Dark World Dealings.
Okay, I'm going to pitch Heavy Storm.
That's a great card against me.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I don't even know what I want to send for the other one. I guess I'll send Dark Hole. I don't think I'll be needing either.
Okay. Oh, wow. We'll go RML here. Oh, okay. There we go. Shadow to the Grave.
All right, now your salvage is live.
Yeah. Now a lot of stuff is live. We're going to go Into the Void. We are going to go Into the Void. We are going to go Salvage, adding back Shadow and Vision. We are going to go Shadow and Vision. We're going to grab Soul Ogre and Aquamirror. We'll go RML. We're going to go Trade-In, pitching Soul Ogre. Just one. Oh, wow. All right, Vision to the Grave. We're going to grab... We'll just grab Mind August here. Okay, how much farther do we want to go? Probably very. We'll go Salvage here. I'm going to get Shadow Vision. We're going to go 2 on RML. Pitch Shadow. Going to grab Aquamirror. Oh, God. Let's fire off Hand Destruction. I'm going to pitch RML Vision. Let's pitch RML Aquamirror.
Oh, I actually get to do something. I will pitch MST. I guess I'll get rid of the Grand Spellbook Tower.
Ooh. I'm going to Royal Magical Library. God in heaven. Upstart.
I'll take my 1,000.
I'm going to Salvage here. Grab Shadow and Vision. We're going to RML. We're going to activate Aquamirror here. Put it back in and add back a Soul Ogre. We are going to trade in, pitching the Soul Ogre. We are going to 1 Day of Peace.
Hooray, I get to draw a card.
We'll go Royal Magical Library. Wow. I mean... Jeez Louise, right? Okay, I'm gonna go Cup of Ace.
All right.
Sure.
Unreal.
Sure. I will just let you in on a secret. At this point, it does not matter. And I guess
That's just BM then.
I will Hand Destruction. Will pitch Aquamirror Shadow.
Guess I'll pitch Duality and Trag. I don't think I'll be needing that.
Okay. That's step 1. Now,
all right, you've drawn your entire deck. Congratulations.
So first things first, we're going to Aquamirror. We're going to send Gishki Vision as the entire ritual requirement for Evagishki Mind August.
I'm gonna say something here before you continue. I have Max C in my hand, but because the purpose of this deck is to literally deck me out, I think Max C is actually a death sentence. So I'm going to elect to not activate that in response to the Aqua Mirror.
Sick.
All right, well, because I feel like that just makes your job easier if I do that, in all honesty.
I'll go for the Mind August here.
I'm actually thinking.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any way that you could conceivably cut this off, like, once you get to... Aside from you fucking up, which I'm obviously trying to bank on here, is there any conceivable way I can just stop this from getting out of hand? You have, like, everything you need at this point, so it probably doesn't matter. The problem is here, I don't exactly know what I'm trying to stop. I'm just gonna Valor the Mind August and hope it's good enough.
Right, so that actually is quite good. It is not sufficient. We're gonna go Aqua Mirror effect. We'll put it on top of the deck. We'll return the Mind August to hand. Okay.
And then you can just summon another one.
Yes. We'll go for Aqua Mirror, putting August to August.
Yep.
We're just going to assume that this RML is going to have 3 from this point on, I think. And then we will trigger Mind August. All right, so we are going to put Hand Destruction and Trade-In back into the deck.
Just those two?
Just those two.
Okay, because it is up to 5.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We are going to be here for a long freaking time. All right.
Excellent.
I'm going to go Aqua Mirror effect. Aqua Mirror effect. We'll take Soul Ogre and Mind August. I'm going to pitch Shadow to grab those Aqua Mirrors from the deck. We're going to go Upstart Goblin.
Okay.
And then we're going to RML.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, we have now established loop position 1. I am going to now do a play. All right, so I'm going to activate... God, I just really don't know how I'm going to describe this to you. I'm going to activate Gishki Aqua Mirror. I'm going to send Mind August to the grave to summon Mind August. I'm going to trigger Mind August. We're going to go Salvage, Trade-In, Hand Destruction. We're going to trade in our Soul Ogre to draw 2. I'm going to go... This cleans up, like, a majority of my problems. I'm going to Moray of Greed to put Vision and Vision on top of my deck. This is counter number 3 from the trade-in. Draw 3. And then we'll RML the last one. Okay. Problem resolved. All right, we're going to salvage here to get back 2 copies of Shadow.
Sure.
We are going to activate the graveyard effect of Aqua Mirror to grab back, say, Soul Ogre. And then we are going to activate the effect of Shadow to grab the Aqua Mirror from deck. We'll use Aqua Mirror to add Mind August to hand. And then we will Shadow to search the Aqua Mirror. I'm going to go Aqua Mirror.
Sure.
For Mind August here, to summon Mind August. I will now make a Mind August pile. We are going to go Trade-In, Salvage, and any extraneous card. So here I'm going to get, let's say, Upstart Goblin.
Okay.
To the top of my deck. We're going to use Aqua Mirror, put it on top of the deck, get ourselves a copy of Soul Ogre. We will activate Hand Destruction.
I will pitch Duality and Spellbook of Fate.
We'll go Aqua Mirror, Aqua Mirror. And then we will trade in the Ogre for 2 cards. So what we're doing here is a continuous loop, right? We're always able to use the Aqua Mirrors in the graveyard from this position in order to add Soul Ogre and Mind August back to our hand, which gives us infinite fodder for the trade-in. Because we added the Salvage back, we'll always have material to get them back into the deck using these 2 copies of Gishki Shadow. And every individual time we perform this loop, we will add 1 card from our graveyard to our hand.
And you will also be milling me for 2 cards with Hand Destruction.
That is correct. But from this position, we don't even have to do that. I'll just execute this loop, if you're okay with it, a huge number of times to put every card from the grave back in the hand.
Sure.
And then from here, I have the resources to go into what is effectively the dummy loop, which is I am just going to Hand Destruction you out of this game.
Essentially.
This is the mechanism by which you can play around Effect Veiler, because if they Effect Veiler your Mind August, you still have the material to go off. Okay. We'll just go... We'll do this a couple of times. We'll go Aqua Mirror for the Mind August for the Mind August. Mind August effect. We'll just put these two on top of the deck. We'll Hand Destruction, pitching both mirrors. We'll draw 2, could be anything. We're going to Mind August for Mind August. Trigger the effect. We'll target the Hand S and one of the Aqua Mirrors. We'll use the other Aqua Mirror effect to get the Mind August back to hand. Then the Shadow to add the Aqua Mirror to hand. We'll use Hand S. We'll pitch our Aqua Mirrors. Draw 2. And we're going to repeat this process until you're out of cards. Now here's...
Yu-Gi-Oh! Ladies and gentlemen! Woohoo! Let's give it up for Yu-Gi-Oh! God, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't you, buddy? This just feels like I'm right at home.
Yo, so what if I told you that it was actually worse? I certainly didn't navigate that combo line, like, optimally. But as you saw, there was like a 3-minute long period that added a single card from my graveyard back into my hand, right? If your opponent allowed you to play it out because they felt like they had a card in their deck that would beat it if they were only able to draw into it, you would go to time in game 1 while playing at a reasonable pace.
Excellent.
This meant for a lot of people the match was over after that first one. Oh my god, how was this ever allowed? I guess that is probably where I land on this.
Well, hopefully I can, at least redeem some justice here and possibly can scrape one out. And holy shit, looking at this hand, I don't think so. I get to draw for turn. Oh my god, I think that made it worse. But all right, buddy, I know the move. Okay, I know the move. I'm going to activate Spellbook Tower.
I'm in.
I'm going to set 5 cards.
Holy shit.
Go ahead.
All right, that's pretty good. I'll draw for turn.
So this isn't too bad because although I possibly may have things to stop you, I wasn't able to put up any pressure on the front row front, but you can't hand destruction me at the current moment. There are ways that you can alleviate that, but it does possibly slow you down a little bit.
I mean, Heavy Storm?
This man draws the 1-0. Do you have RML?
I don't know.
Well, there they all go. I had a compulse for the RML, so like I could have at least slowed you down.
I'm so sorry.
But
okay,
didn't get that far. All right, I mean, we're not out of it.
That is true. That is true. Okay, we are going to trade in pitching Soul Ogre. Wow, this is actually really gnarly. Okay, we're gonna send both visions.
Oh, gnarly, huh?
Yeah, it's gnarly meaning not fantastic. We're gonna get Soul Ogre and Mind August. We're gonna Moray of Greed here, and these have got to be pretty god darn good. All right. 1, 2, 3. Oh no. Oh god. Okay. Into the Void.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Christ almighty. Can I card destruction if you have no hand?
You can't.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. I will set 4.
Because you have to fulfill Into the Void, so you have to set. Okay.
I'll end my turn and Aquamir to the grave.
All right. I guess we have a game. I guess. But we'll see. I'll draw. Oh, excellent. That's exactly what I wanted. I'll set and pass. Go ahead.
That's about as frightening as it can get, I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, I'm going to go Aquamir here. We're going to grab the Soul Ogre. We're going to go trade in, pitching the Soul Ogre.
Sure.
Okay. We're gonna go Shadow, grabbing a Aqua Mirror. We're gonna go Salvage, adding back Shadow Vision. We're gonna go Shadow Vision. We're gonna grab Aqua Mirror and Soul Ogre. We are going to trade in, pitching the Soul Ogre. Draw 2 here. Oh, Christ alive. We are going to... What if we just start attacking?
The Gishki rituals are pretty big, in all fairness.
No, so there is an OTK line in this deck. It's not super hard to get to. And you do have a back row. Let's go Dark World Dealings.
Oh, I'm just milling here, so... oh, there goes my Compulse. Excellent.
I'm going to go Aqua Mirror. We'll grab back the Soul Ogre.
It's pretty tough for you to OTK, because you need, what, double Soul Ogre, Mind August?
Yeah, Soul Ogre, Mind August is an OTK.
I think that's like exact game, isn't it?
It's not too hard to get there because Aqua Mirror is crazy.
You're sort of like all in on it, though, if you go for it.
Yeah, I know, and that back row could be something very scary.
I mean, I think to avoid hand destruction, I would have set literally any card I would have drawn.
See, that's what I'm thinking, too. All right, let's, I'm gonna go Aqua Mirror here. We're gonna send Soul Ogre for Mind August. I am not going to trigger Mind August.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Aqua Mirror here. We'll add back the Soul Ogre. Getting the beats in against you just seems so PP bad. I'm gonna go Moray of Greed. I'm putting back Shadow Soul Ogre. That should do it. We'll go Salvage. I'll grab back Vision, Shadow. I'm gonna go Shadow here. Grab Aqua Mirror. Vision here. Grab Soul Ogre. I'm gonna go Aqua Mirror, pitching the Shadow in hand for Soul Ogre. I'm going to activate Aqua Mirror, add back Soul Ogre. I mean, let's just find it, right? I'm gonna Magical Mallet for 1.
Sure.
That's not it. All right, let's just go to combat. 25, 28.
Take the 25. Thinking on the 28. All right, yeah, I'll take the 25. I actually drew Spellbook of Fate of all things.
Oh, God, that's like really crazy.
It's not bad because thank you for heavy storming me. I can actually go ahead and use this effect. So I'm going to banish your Soul Ogre, and we're going to banish, I guess, all of these cards need other cards, right? So I guess I'm going to banish Life, Tower. I don't know. I'm going to need like some miracle to come back from this.
I think in this case, you have to pick Eternity, right?
I think so. Like, I feel like Master Engrave actually
Oh, no. I meant the opposite.
Oh, you meant the opposite. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't care.
Well...
And this goes to grave.
Shit. I did not think we would get in this position. I guess I shouldn't have gone the aggro path. Back to you.
I mean, you still have a 2,500, and the chance of me getting anything that's going to get me out of the situation is about what I expected looking at this. Okay. I will set a card and throw it to you.
All right, stand by main. Oh, that's a weird one for sure. We'll go card destroy. Oh my God. How many times am I going to make this mistake? I can't do anything. All right, I'm going to go Augustin.
I'll take 25.
Back to you.
Go ahead.
Keep a card in your hand, God damn it. Okay, here we go. Upstart Goblin.
Sure.
Oh, you thought that was cool. Upstart Goblin.
Sure.
Oh, you thought that was cool. Combat.
I'm mad because that didn't give me an extra turn by 100 life points.
Oh my God. This is killer. Please keep a card in your goddamn hand.
I mean, that's a card to keep in my hand, but like, I don't know if it's the right card to keep in my hand. I'm gonna Heavy Storm now.
Ag! Okay, so it's card destruction, hand destruction.
Okay, excellent. It was Heavy Storm MST. I have Prophecy.
Okay, we're chilling. We're big chilling.
So I'm technically not dead here.
No, this is huge.
So Secrets is definitely the pick because that unlocks the rest of my deck. Okay, now the problem is I need to figure out how the fuck I can get out of this in any sort of capacity.
I think you're kind of favored, honestly.
All right, so Secrets down. I can't get Master because Master I need to have another spellbook in hand to duplicate something, which is annoying. So that's off the table. Power is cool, but your thing has 2,500, so it's not good enough, and I can't duplicate power here. If I had, like, a bigger guy, power would actually be, like, insane here. So I think the only hit that makes sense is probably Fate, which is pretty good. I mean, it gets rid of your August.
It's quite good.
Yeah, so I guess that's the only thing we're going to take, so we'll do it.
Sure.
That also conveniently puts 3 spellbooks in grave again, so I think I banish it. The alternative line is I could do something weird where, like, I let you attack me and I can get another search off of Spellbook Magician,
right?
But that doesn't seem very good. Also, I just realized I'm a big cheater, and Spellbook of Fate requires me to control a spellcaster, so I should just be dead.
You literally cheated!
I literally just cheated.
Oh my god. Okay.
Imagine reading cards.
We played
Imagine reading cards.
This one.
Imagine reading cards.
Yeah.
I want a game 3. I want fuck the heavy storm. I want a game 3 where I get to go first again and don't cheat. Yeah, nothing happened. We didn't cheat. You know, nothing went wrong whatsoever. Heavy storm is not real. Nothing. God, this is a nightmare. Yeah, I still don't know why I let you talk me into this.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Okay, that looks much better. I think I might be able to put up a fight this time, but we'll see. I'm going to start with Secrets. This card does not require me to have a spellcaster on the field.
That's fine.
I will grab a copy of Magician. I will just play Magician so I can search, and I'm going to get a copy of Master.
Sure.
Since I have a spellcaster, I'm going to be very clear when I say this. I can show a spellbook in my hand. I will reveal Spellbook of Life, I guess. Whatever. I'm going to duplicate Secrets, which is a pretty sick effect.
Yep.
So I get another search here. Oh, wow, this is actually worse. We're back in game 1. All right. We'll try. Yeah, we're getting Fate here. I need, like, some protection against the FTK. So Master will go. Then I think I kind of want to play around hand destruction again. I'm going to reveal Fate, Life, and Wisdom to Special Priestess.
Yes.
And then I'm going to set 4 cards. And then I'm going to pitch Max C from my hand and pass.
Oh, you son of bitch. All right, stand by main.
Sure.
All right, you don't yet have 3 spellbooks in grave. You wouldn't have gone for this line if you didn't have, what, Life? Christ alive, I don't know if I can do this without the destruction spells. All right, we're going to normal. I legitimately can't. Wow. Wow, I'm just fucked here.
Now you know how I felt the first 2 games.
All right, you know, go ahead. You know, we'll try this again next time. What, are you going to kill me?
Okay. I'll try. Yeah, I'm going to... Well, let's see what I draw for turn first. You're playing an FTK deck. You don't play any real cards. All right, main 1. I'm going to activate Fate.
Yes.
I'm going to banish Secrets and Masters, and I'm going to flip my blue boy down.
That's fine.
I'm going to reflip the blue boy.
Also fine.
I will grab Secrets. Fire Secrets. I'm going to grab Master. I'm going to activate Master, reveal Power. I'm going to copy Secrets.
Sure.
I'm going to grab another copy of Fate.
Gotcha.
And actually, I'm going to throw a second step in here. I'm going to Secrets for Blue Boy for Master. Same result, basically.
Yeah.
But I get an extra body on the field, which could be relevant. You are correct. It is difficult to kill you from this position because...
Because you ain't got no good monsters.
Not really. I mean, Priestess is sort of like where the attack on this deck caps out at, which usually isn't bad, but you're trying to play control most of the time, so it really doesn't matter all that much. All right, so currently I have 3,500 worth of power on the field, which is like fine, but it's not great. I want to at least try to get you on like a 2-turn clock. 35. I guess if I throw a power in, that gets me my 2-turn clock. I don't really have to do that, though. Yeah, whatever. Let's do this. God, kind of just want to leave him out, honestly. Yeah, all right, let's just go to battle. I'll hit you for, what is this, 35?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll just set one.
Stop
Go ahead.
setting your fucking hand. All right, stand by main.
Oh, I should set both of them. You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Man, all right, we'll try it out. RML.
Uh-oh.
Thoughts?
You're good.
Into the void.
Sure.
Wow. Ooh, okay. Shadow Vision, Soul Ogre, and Aqua Mirror. I'm gonna go Aqua Mirror. Pitch the Soul Ogre for a Mind August.
Okay, that's your second counter on RML. Are you going to be using the Mind August?
No, but I am gonna be using the Aqua Mirror. I'm gonna grab this Soul Ogre back.
Okay.
You have Fate live, dog. I literally can't beat Fate. I can't get all the guys off your field. I don't think I can. Yeah, no, you got it. There's nothing I can do here, yeah. Oh.
Okay. Well, I mean,
The hand was,
I guess we got to
you played it correctly. The hand was card destruction, hand destruction.
Ooh.
It was pretty
okay.
spicy if you didn't set your entire freaking hand.
That was one of the things I picked up on from researching, like, how to beat this deck. I think it was actually in the Gishki player's deck profile. He mentioned that people would just set their whole hand and then you would heavy storm them out of the side deck. It's literally just exactly what happened in game 2.
Shockingly,
textbook.
That's why cards like Cup of Ace were actually not the worst thing ever. Because if they failed, thank God you could now play around whatever your opponent was planning by setting their entire hand. No, this deck is it's crazy. It's out of this world. I know I am playing it suboptimally, but it is just so tight and the loops are so malleable that it really resembles even a deck that by modern Yu-Gi-Oh standards would be broken.
I agree. And it's just crazy with how much ease you're able to start going into these combos. And the fact that, one of the things when it comes to decks like this is that they're typically all in. And not that this deck isn't all in, but the fact that it can pivot into an OTK line in worst case scenarios, like how you were trying to do in game 2, which in all honesty, you successfully achieved had I been able to read cards, then the fact you have a backup plan is crazy. Typically, these decks don't even have that. So anytime you can just have this auto-win sort of deck, but then out of nowhere, yeah, I'll just kill you with my big ritual dudes. That's pretty sick, right? And this is, on my end, the very early stages of Prophecy. I think this might be the first time Prophecy ever topped a YCS. It may have topped like a regional or two prior to this. There may be a YCS that I missed, but I'm fairly certain this is one of the few times that it did. And the deck is only going to get better from here because while, yes, Dragon Rulers are right around the corner, this deck doesn't. This deck has still yet to get Spellbook of Judgment, which is what takes this deck to another level and what allows it to actually compete with a deck like Dragon Rulers, right?
Yeah.
And just like you played your deck suboptimally, I played my deck suboptimally because I didn't know how to read either. But
we are going to
in any case,
we're going to get killed.
We're going to get roasted, of course. But, that's typical of history of Yu-Gi-Oh! We did get to see, though, in that game 3, the resource loop of how this deck actually starts to get going, right? Yeah. Once you start to see Secrets and Master and get in rotation, then you start to get the loop of you're getting the spells engraved to be able to make sure that Fate is live for your opponent's turn. And Fate is just an incredibly broken card. I mean, I'm pretty sure it gets limited in the future at one point because it's so flexible, because it's a Book of Moon in archetype, but also it's I believe it's a non-targeting banish. It is a non-targeting banish. So the fact that you can't even play around it if it just goes up, good fucking luck, taking care of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, for anyone who played Duel Links, Blue Boy plus Secrets plus Master plus Fate was enough to be the backbone of a tier 1 meta strategy, Judgment or no. The deck just simply did not play other monsters. It was like, yeah, we'll eventually kill you with Blue Boy. I think later they pivoted to being on Breaker, just because it's a spellcaster and it had some number of attack. Spellbook as a resource engine is unbelievably strong. Spellbook as a competent meta deck with Judgment is even scarier. And as we get into the next couple of episodes, we will certainly see that. This Gishki list actually does continue to evolve. It is a very strange situation, but I was kind of floundering my way through this, but as people get more and more familiar with the lines that you can do, you have lines that play around literally everything that people were citing against this. Lines that play around DD Crow, around Effect Veiler, around Neko Main King, of all things, that I think
Hilarious.
Billy Brake was citing when this deck first came out. There are some reasons why this deck was never really that competent in a meta sense. You, of course, have functionally no game going second unless you legitimately draw exactly Heavy Storm. And while your first turn Goldfish win rate is like 85%, that doesn't always account for like really early Veilers that they find in the opener on stuff like Royal Magical Library. Eventually, this deck gets to the point where it's playing like triple 1-for-1, no Cup of Ace. It's playing all of these unbelievable draw spells, but it eventually is hit from the format. Although it is even arguable if it was worth playing at the point it was hit. It just has so many bad matchups, no game whatsoever going second, and as a result, ended up being just sort of an oddity that was arguably tier 1 for an extremely short amount of time, and started a conversation that was more about like sportsmanship, judgment, and metagaming than it was about how to actually play the deck proper.
But it's a Yu-Gi-Oh deck through and through, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what I love about it. Like this conglomeration of all of these different cards just coming together and achieving this wacky win condition. I mean, it wasn't long ago I was doing the Electrum OTK against you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, that's obviously a much different beast. But these types of decks to me are just what embody Yu-Gi-Oh at its finest. And I absolutely love it. But yes, I do agree. I think if I had that Veiler in my opening hand in game 1, it would have been a much different game without you being able to draw off your magical library. Could you have still killed me? Probably, but it would have been a lot more difficult without you getting your replacements on, every third of a spell that you play. Mm-hmm. And like you said, this deck continues to evolve even by like modern Yu-Gi-Oh standards. It wasn't that long ago that Eva Gishki Gust Kraken went to unlimited or something, and people were already labbing how to make loops with this card just to auto win games in 2021, right? Or 2022.
I'll be honest with you, the deck as it exists in 2022 suffers from the literal exact same problem. Yes, it can very effortlessly loop you for 5 cards turn 1. Does that win the game? Not anymore, baby.
Not anymore. Yep. And to be fair, the difference as well is that there are a myriad of different hand traps that are available in the game right now, where back then you were really just contesting with Veiler, Maxi, and Trag, and that's about it.
This deck loses to Nibiru, to Infip, to Ghost Ogre. It loses to Bell, of all things. I don't think it would be nearly as competent now as it was then, but...
Dimension Shifter.
Yo. I mean, sometimes you're just more skilled than your opponent.
That's going to wrap it up for another episode. Let's go ahead and shout out the patrons as always. A big shout to Shout1317, Moto, Cameron Smith, Tim00x3, Ian Musa, Chaotic People, SJ Winchester, Part 2, Pony Stark, Dan the Man Hoban, MBT Play Medolce, Synchro Guy, Ole, Yusuf Asin05, Mystic Walk, I Ship MBT and Cimo, Draconic Rockslide, Logan Thomas, Peter Gregory, Thomas Nelson, Jordan Coons, Kelvin Ironblades, Imperious, Jesse True Orgasm, Brother Paul, Chris, So David Lou, Skyrose, Dylan Hunter, John Two Base, Extremely Vulgar Man, Brody Eastwood, Day Sir, Carlos DT, Flannel Daddy, Hornet, Give Me Speed Raider, Give Me Death, Jonah Messenger, oh my god, guys, please read your cards, TC Gaming, thanks for the sleeves, Dad, Matthew Brady, Dyer the Egyptian Editor, Max, Tom Russell, why read your cards when you can just click buttons, Ben Snatch Shield for Prague 2021, Helios 515, Paint French Girls like one of your MBTs, Black Acre, Say Gage Gang Engage 3 times fast, the entire state of Indiana, D's Cards, MBT fans gaming more than COVID, Simping for Simo, Mark Jackson, Tyler H, Justice for Queen Tiramisu, and Simo's harem of sexy Yugi tubers. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we will see you next time.